What's up guys, Tommy Bowyer here from Movie Rewind, and today we will be reviewing The Meg. It stars Jason Statham and it is basically Jaws on steroids. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first off, the plot of The Meg is basically a very simple plot. A group of marine biologists discover an ancient prehistoric shark called Megalodon, which did actually exist. There was actually a shark called Megalodon, which was a giant. And I have to say, this movie, to me, feels like two separate films. Because the first hour and a half are actually enjoyable. It's its own thing. It's not good in any way, however, it is at least doing its own thing and it has its unique style. Although the second half of the movie is when it goes full Jaws on steroids parody. It's like the movie makers did not really know how to end the movie, so they thought they would just copy Jaws, which I know all of us were thinking it was going to be, but I can't get out of my head that the first half of the movie is so unique that I'd actually say, wow, The Meg is its own movie. But due to the second half of the movie being so much like Jaws, it just undermines the movie as a whole because it's just a parody, and to be honest, it's not a very good parody. As for the acting, it's okay. The acting from the majority of the cast is actually pretty good. The only problem is Jason Statham, because I don't know if Jason Statham is just not a very good actor or he was just phoning it in, but his acting is so bad in The Meg, and because that acting is bad, it just draws you out of the movie. You have no investment in it because you can tell the actors and actresses don't have any investment in it. And while I do think that the majority of the actors and actresses do put their all into their performances, because Jason Statham is the main cast member and the story centres around him as the main character, you know, because his acting's bad, it just undermines the movie as a whole, which is a shame because I feel The Meg could have been better if Jason Statham was a better actor or put more effort in, or they got someone else. So I've gone through the acting and I've kind of gone through the plot. Now it's on to the action. Now, the action and all the suspense elements, because it does take elements from like horror movies and that, which isn't a bad thing for a film like The Meg. As I said, the first half, the action is really creative and the suspense is actually there a bit. There was at least once that I actually jumped because the suspense was very good. All of that goes when the second half of the movie starts. I can't really explain it because the second half is such a parody that it goes between that line where it's a parody so much that it's just not a good movie because it's just ripping off Jaws. And that's what the second half is. It's just ripping off Jaws, which I don't understand because the first half, it was its own movie. You could say The Meg was its own movie. However, because the second half is just a parody, it just feels like a bit of a mess where they've just thought, oh well, no one's going to take The Meg seriously, so we might as well just make fun of it. No, they shouldn't have done that. They should have taken it seriously because then they would have had a unique film which actually could have surpassed expectations. Unfortunately, The Meg just becomes a parody of itself, which is quite sad, really. So in conclusion, The Meg is a film which had loads of potential, and the first half of the movie, it tries to do its own thing. And I would have given the first half about a 7 out of 10 because it was actually quite interesting. However, you then have to look at the second half, which is just a rip-off of Jaws, and the directors just did not take the movie seriously at that point. I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was the studio, the directors, or the writers. They just did not take the movie seriously at that point, and that weakened the movie as a whole. So I am going to have to give The Meg a 4 out of 10. And it's quite sad because, you know, people might laugh at me for this. However, I did think that the Meg could have had potential. It could have been, you know, a surprise hit. Unfortunately, it weren't. So thanks for watching, guys. I really do hope that you enjoyed my Meg movie review. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe in order to receive great and maybe even improved quality content in the future. And I will see you in another one. See ya.